Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy, the Wrestling Classic, Justin. I'm here with none other than the man himself, Chris Masters. Chris Adonis, how are we doing today?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We're gonna let everyone know this is a short interview. We're gonna do a long one.
Now we're gonna do a real one. This is the one before the one.
This is like, rapid fire questions, but first things first, before we get into it, how do we feel about the LAX Fan Fest? How'd you like the event today?
It's great. It's hot as hell, as always. I'll say that. You know, bring your portable fan, as I did right here. See?
Yeah, I thought there was a mic when you were first
This was
pulling it.
clutch. Oh, no.
I like, guys, are doing something? He has a mic, and then I got close, I'm like, oh, it's not a mic.
No, but it's cool, man. This is LAX Fan Fest is a cool, as you know, it's LA's version of a big wrestling fan fest. It's the only one I can think of that we have here, and we've got Bret Hart as a headliner. It doesn't get any better than that, as you know. And yeah, man, it's just a good energy, man. The fans out here are cool.
I know, it's cool that they get something like we were talking about it earlier. I talked about it with Rikishi, where he's like, the West Coast needs more of this.
Oh, I know.
He's like, the East Coast is saturated, it's a big deal with it, but the West Coast needs more of this.
Well, think about it too, though. Wrestling in its infancy it's much more of a Northeast and Southern thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? And it got popular on the West Coast because it got popular globally too, right?
Yeah.
But we do need more of it.
Quick questions then, really first. What were some of your earliest memories of professional wrestling? When you think about what you first saw, what do you remember?
Well, it's funny, we were talking about some of this. Well,
yeah, that's
the first one that popped in my mind, since you phrased it like that, was my first devastation as a wrestling fan. And that was the moment where, bye Lisa.
I love you.
Love you.
Okay.
You're the best.
I was supposed to leave at 6, but didn't get it.
Till next time, dear. All right. Anyway, sorry about that.
Like I say, LAX Fan Fest, you never know who you're going to run into.
Never know.
You never know who's in the house.
Oh, wait, no, you gotta go. Oh, okay, so first wrestling memory, it was my first moment of devastation. It was the Warrior getting hit with the scepter and losing the title to Sergeant Slaughter. I was devastated, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, it really made me hate the Macho King.
We're gonna touch base on you as a fan right now real quickly then. So tell me about this then, right? I'm gonna do that thing. You ever seen those blind rankings? We have to rank them from 1 to 5, but you don't know who's coming next.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so we're gonna do this. I'm gonna give you 5 names and you're gonna have to rank them, and wherever you put them is where they stay.
I hated this last time because I kept wanting to make adjustments. All right,
Bret the Hitman Hart.
Man, I'm gonna put him number 2 because I gotta save the 1 spot. So
all right.
2.
The Macho Man Randy Savage.
I'll put him at 5.
5, okay. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I'll put him at 4.
All right, so we got 3 and 1 still open.
Okay.
I already know one. I feel like I shouldn't say it because I already know what it is, but Shawn Michaels.
Okay, number 1.
And then, I guess I would leave, I'd say Piper number 4, I guess, or 3.
No, you never said Piper.
You're next?
Oh, that was the next one. Yeah, that's true.
See, so we would have got stuck at 3.
So, but hold on. So now would I adjust that list? So it goes Piper, Austin, and then Savage.
Okay.
See, okay, I wouldn't keep the list like that if I could adjust it, but that's where it fell. So
A little non-wrestling really quickly. What's a movie you like to watch? It's kind of like a, get your mind off things. If you want to watch a movie, what's your movie to go to?
Okay, I'm gonna say TV show because it gives me, it's for the exact reasons you just said. I'm heavily addicted to The Office. I can't stop watching it. It's so funny. It never stops being funny. And I mean, just in terms of having it on in the background while you're doing stuff. You know what I mean? I'm surfing it. I'm looking up the Wrestling Classic on Instagram with The Office in the background.
Yeah. No, totally. Are you do you enjoy post Michael Scott too, or are you just
post what?
Post Michael Scott when he's gone?
Yeah, I find all of them funny because when I see it, I can see Seth Rogen was a writer for a lot of them, and I can see a lot of his humor in it.
Yeah.
And that's not the only reason, but Dwight Schrute's one of the greatest characters in TV history, and but Michael Scott, that was the peak of the show.
Yeah.
But I mean, Will Ferrell came in for a minute.
Yeah, no, it was
still
good.
The Office.
Everyone, because I always said that. I remember when I used to watch it, and then my sister would be like, "Why do you watch the show? It's so weird." I'm like, once you watch it and you get to know each character, then every time you watch it again, you're watching a different character. And you're like, this is my favorite this time, or that's my favorite this time. So it is that show. Hey yo, it's your boy, the Wrestling Classic, Justin here, and I'm here to tell you guys about one of wrestling's best kept secrets for merchandise, officially licensed WWE and NXT merchandise, 500level.com. Check them out, 500level.com. Get officially licensed merchandise for the WWE, NXT, UFC, MLB, NBA, NHL. They got it all. If you join the Partnership Point program as a loyal customer, you will get discounts down the road. You can find merchandise for some of your favorite NXT stars that you can't find anywhere else. Javon Evans,
Evans, Kalani Jordan, Carmen Petrovic, Lola Vice, Trick Williams. They got merchandise for everybody on NXT. You got OG shirts like this NWO shirt. You got big stars like the Queen Charlotte Flair. You get new designs like this new design for Lita. You get designs I helped out with, like this design for Dakota Kai, which I was a part of creating when Dakota didn't have those many shirts going on. You can get, like I said, NXT superstars like Carmen Petrovic and many others. You can get OGs like the none other than the Hot Rod, Rowdy, Roddy Piper. You can get CM Punk, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, anybody you want. Sami Zayn's 500level.com. Check them out. You can even get the bad guy, Razor Ramon. You get your OG, like I said, logo shirts, NWO, WWF, Survivor Series, Raw's War. 500level.com. Check them out. Join the partnership program. Some of the best quality shirts, premium quality, regular quality. Some of the best product you will find out there, officially licensed WWE, NXT merchandise, and OG Legend stuff. 500level.com. Check them out. Keep doing the thing. We'll see you all later. Ooh, yeah.
So, music. What's on your playlist? What do you listen to?
Okay, for me, my favorite musician of all time is Tupac Shakur.
Yeah.
You know what
Best
I mean?
Tupac song. That's hard. Maybe give me your top 5 Tupac songs.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to think of
I'm a
one.
big Tupac fan too, so I'm just curious.
Like Ambitions as a writer, you got to put the last. Well, man, all of them are good. But hold on. Okay, Dear Mama, because I have a connection to that because I was raised just by my mom.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of guys do though. Like everybody loves that.
But that's
song,
what that song's purpose is like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
but I think it's really for if you grew up without your dad in the picture, that song really means a lot to you. But I'm trying to think of my favorite of all time. Man, you're really putting me on the spot with this one.
They are cliche, most of them. Like, if I was going to get my list, a lot of them are probably kind of cliche, because, like, what are the ones I listen to right now and be like, oh.
Changes is a good one.
Yeah, but, like, Until the End of Time. Like, I love Until the End of Time.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
the end of time. But that's the one I was trying to think. Until the End of Time and Changes, I would put as, like, 2 of my top.
Yeah.
Because I like his more intellectual and feeling music than his confrontational.
I like the
music.
lyrics. I like Only God Can Judge Me. I like the lyrics. Like Ghetto Gospel. I like the lyrics.
They're deep, man. They're like.
But
really...
don't get me wrong. Teenage me that grew up in a rougher neighborhood and shit was like Hit 'Em Up was like the anthem.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate.
That still gets me rowdy when he's swearing at the end like your kids won't grow. I'm like, oh, this is the best.
It's the ultimate diss song. There'll never be he literally hit him in the worst. Like it's like figuring out the worst possible way to talk S on somebody and doing it. And that's what Tupac did essentially. But like, let me just say this since you brought musicians. Like for me, my main muses in life, still to this day, are, you mentioned Shawn Michaels, Kobe Bryant, Tupac Shakur.
Yeah.
Like, and that I feel like covers athletics, covers, celebrity a little bit, like, and all that. I mean, I loved 80s action heroes, Arnold Stallone specifically and stuff like that. I mean, I know we're talking about a lot of stuff now,
but I get it, because if this was a full interview, there would probably be a part where I ask you, like, where do you feel like you pulled the biggest influences from? Because I think as children, we're influenced by a lot of things. Obviously, we discover who we are, but I can sit and be like, fuck, like sometimes I joke around. I'm like, I'm fucking Jack Sparrow, man. I'm a pirate, been stealing content for years and making it my own. You know what I mean? Like the wrestling classic started as a pirate, man. Like you know, there's a scene in Pirates of the Caribbean where like he's like, oh, you're the worst pirate I've ever heard of. But he's like, you have heard of me. Like that was me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but you have heard of me. Like,
I love that.
So it's okay. Like so it's Stallone and you have all these influences. I mean, like Tupac. I thought I was Tupac when I was a teenager. You know what I mean? Lil Wayne when I was getting a little bit older. John Lennon. When I found John Lennon, I related to him so much. Like there's a lot of that.
But music has like, it's maybe we're kind of being old heads by saying this, but I feel like music you can really break down like by each millennium, like the 60s, 70s, 80s. But like I feel like after the 2000s, there has been like a drop off from music where like you wouldn't say that. The last good era feels like the 90s or 80s, and I don't know if that's a product.
But it's also weird to say, like, the 2000s you can get away with, but it's like, oh yeah, the 2010s were great. Like, that just sounds weird. Like, what was the music of the 2010s? And like, you'll probably play some songs like, oh yeah, but it's just like, it's weird.
It felt like it was more just catchy hooks and beats.
But though, I also feel like when you talk about the 60s, you talk about the 80s, you talk about the 70s music, for the most part, there was a genre that probably dominated that.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean.
And there was many different genres, but
the history of music is fascinating because it's not that long ago, really. If you're talking about modern music, we're talking about when was Elvis and like.
That was like the 50s.
Yeah,
the 60s.
so I mean.
Then you had the England rock scene in the 60s with the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, etc. Then you go to the 80s.
The hard rock, right?
Yeah, and then it was the Big Hair and Bon Jovi.
That's what makes music interesting is to see like, okay, well, how did it evolve?
And the 90s was very pop and hip hop. hop, like that became the thing.
And then, but what now? Then after that, what happened?
That's what I mean. Then that's my whole point I was getting at. Is I think because a genre of music dominated a certain generation, I feel like now there's not a dominant one.
Well,
someone will tell you there's a dominant one because that's what they like, but people like EDC, people like hip hop, people like country, people like rock. So everything's kind of good.
Here's one last thing to think about though.
Yeah.
Now anybody can release music too. So now maybe just so many people are releasing it as watered down. But also, what's gonna happen when we start having like AI singers that are over as fuck?
That's the thing now. I've seen it. People are just like imitating voices and creating AI singers and.
Like what?
And the way people live on the internet now, like they don't go to wrestling shows, but they'd want to watch someone streaming wrestling to feel like they're watching with people. The way people are just like,
I feel like
being
in pro wrestling, we're actually really lucky because AI threatens to take so many jobs.
Yeah.
But you can't
create a wrestling.
Yeah, you can't put on a live wrestling event with AI. That's one thing you can't do.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, it's just something. These are the weird things I think about. But I mean that's where we're at in society.
Hey, listen, we had a Tupac hologram at a Coachella.
Yeah.
They can hologram two wrestlers, maybe.
I know, but like, think about it. You would never give that the attention you would give the real thing in front of you.
Well, once again, this is not supposed to be the long interview, but if we're gonna go dig deep into it, there's a part of wrestling, which it is a part of music too, but you do it with the music. With wrestling, it's different because you know better than I do. I'm not a wrestler, but like, there is something to working off what the crowd is saying and tuning to you. If the crowd is acting a certain way, you might switch gears in the middle of that. You can't do that in a song. You might be able to stop the song and start a new song because you're a musician. But a musician, you're feeling through the music. You guys are feeling they're playing music and the fans are feeling the music, right? And don't be wrong.
Wrestling, we can riff a lot more than they can.
And then obviously they probably get adrenaline too when the crowd's loud. I messaged a singer the other day and she had one of those moments where her mic broke and the fans were just singing the song to her. And I'm like, that's probably what every artist wants, right? That they can turn off the mic and the fans are singing their song to them, right? So that's the adrenaline they get. But wrestling, you are literally working off the fans' responses.
Yeah.
The way you make them feel something is from reacting from how they're acting.
Yeah.
Some of the worst matches are when two guys go in there and they're not even paying attention to the crowd and they just have this whole thing planned and that's how they do it. And they're in these high spots and people aren't even reacting because the crowd's not looking for that, right?
Well, though, you know what happens in those matches? The worst part can be when the guys are working like that and they don't even look at the fans or acknowledge the fans.
Or interact with them at all.
Yes. And because you think that you're putting on an exciting match, but really what's happening is you're showing no personality.
Yeah.
What will make the match entertaining is all that stuff, but also with a look of confidence or a look of whatever, fright, or just give the people something, stop and give them something.
And I always said it was the nuances, right? The way like someone looks at the crowd, how they act in a certain moment.
Think about
what they do between the moves.
No, well, you just said, think about when Booker T used to walk out and he just look at one side with that face and the reaction would generate. That's what you're talking about. So that's why that's important.
So I think that's why it'd be harder to create an AI wrestler because how is AI supposed to maybe when years go by they'll figure out react to a natural crowd.
Yeah, but also
it's not like typing in chat GPT and you're telling it how to act.
But I also just feel like it's like you need real people still doing it. You need the idea of if this move doesn't go right, there's risk here. You know what I mean, you'll never get that with AI, right? Because it's artificially happening.
And that idea of when we get worked as fans and we think someone's really hurt, that one, but they're just so good at selling. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or they sold us on the story. If it's AI, no one's actually ever really getting hurt.
That's interesting to think of the last time you got fooled by an injury or something.
I'm trying to think. And then that's why you always question.
Most of them are real injuries now. The live one was
the live one. But I had to wait a day until someone else said it was legit because I'm like, I'm not getting worked.
Oh yeah, dude,
what is this a part of the storyline?
You know what's funny, and I'm glad I'm with you. People bring up the CM Punk thing because CM Punk talked about his pipe bomb.
Yeah.
And I was the first one he saw backstage. Yeah. And I was like, and I couldn't tell it was Punk, and I was like. Did you ever hear this story?
I've heard the story, but tell it for the people.
It's a weird story, but it's I didn't recognize CM Punk, and I had just heard the pipe bomb, and I was I went up to Punk, talking to him about Punk because I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't realize Punk was doing the promo.
Well, I knew he did it, but Punk came back through the side and we're backstage, and it's dark.
Yeah.
So all I see is a silhouette of somebody. I don't know it's Punk. So I started talking because I didn't think it was.
Oh, you're talking, but you didn't know it was.
Yeah. Did you see what just happened out there? He's like, Chris. It's me. And it's funny because he always tells that story, and I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna make me sound like such a dumbass. But I couldn't tell it was him. But I did buy the promo. The whole point I brought up is, I was like, holy shoot, was that a shoot? I mean, it really was. It was a shoot. It's just they kind of like gave him the leeway to do it.
That's the best wrestling where like it does feel real. And this is not the full interview once again.
Yeah, well, that's why
but even like we're talking about 1997 before. My whole thing, and I know as a kid, but even watching back, I'm like, yo, the reason this felt like great wrestling, because it wasn't with the wrestling, but everything felt real. The NWO felt real.
God,
Sean and Brett felt real.
It was real.
And then you realize it was, and you're like, yo, this shit, like, and like I always say, I'm like, I love that wrestling's grown, and it's HD, and you have these big LED lights and stuff. I'm like, but the smoky arena, and things not feeling scripted.
Gritty.
You know, like if you saw a wrestler at the beginning of the show and they did their segment, it wasn't feeling like you're not going to see them in the rest of the show. They might pop up again. Like, that's the best wrestling.
Yeah,
you know what? It felt like.
I'm glad you said that because I felt like I think it's gone a little under. It got very America's Got Talent looky. And I've been saying for a long time it needs to be grittier, which I like with. The one thing they've done now they've simplified the entrances. Yes,
they toned it down
because you don't need all that. Like you don't need all these digital. Like you're overly doing the digital. Like honestly, one thing that I hated, and again, this isn't the long interview, so we'll wrap up soon. So, but we will do a long one.
Yeah, clearly this works. So.
When CM Punk went through the table, and you just have that Slim Jim like in your face. Like it was so positioned blatantly as an ad. That, like, to me, I felt like as a fan, it would take me out of this because I knew that they rehearsed this in a way that let's make sure we have this Slim Jam ad right through the broken table up on the camera. And, you know.
When the show feels produced, it's like, that's why I was like, okay, if like Savage is cutting promo and talking not to the camera side.
Yes.
Because you're like, why would he care? Like, why would he care? There's fans on this side and there's fans on that side. And Punk does that sometimes too. Like, he'll look away because he knows there's fans all around, right? Like,
it's good to have Hunter in charge though too because Hunter at least recognize, like, think about the curtain call. That was all about kind of letting people in. So, like, you know.
And then recently, another thing that happened that I like always bring up. Now we're talking about like the less productions a little bit more. Sometimes it's like, I remember that first night of WrestleMania 37, it rained, so they didn't have all the LED stuff. They even took off the LED ring post, and it was just the metal ring post. And then they had Sasha Bianca in the main event. Yeah. And I'm like, that match is so good, not because it was just a simple good match. And you even if you knew where it was going, like they told a great story. It just felt old school because you had that smoky arena vibe. There wasn't all the lights. Everything was dumbed down and the spotlight was
Where was that Mania at?
Tampa.
Okay. Because you got to understand, for me not being in the business, like WrestleMania, like kind of WrestleMania, like up to WrestleMania 14, I can tell you everything. Every pay-per-view, every moment. But then the Attitude Era, everything came at you so quick. Like I could hang with you. I watched all of it. Yeah. But like it would be interesting to see, because you talking about that Mania, I don't have a frame of reference for that because I didn't watch that one fully. No, so it's weird to talk to you about stuff and then be like, oh man.
No, like we talked about this earlier when we were talking about, but there was an area I wasn't into it either. And like WrestleMania 23,
When was your lapsed fandom? How many years?
2007 to 2011, but I was never fully lapsed. I just didn't watch all the pay-per-views. Okay. I watched Mania season, I watched Raw, and I watched TNA if I was home. It was an if I home thing. I was like in high school, I had a girlfriend, I was going out drinking with my friends.
No, life happens.
Yeah,
That's what happens.
And like wrestling wasn't that a priority. And it wasn't that great either, to be honest. So.
Mine was 93, 94, and then I got back in 95.
Yeah. It's interesting, everyone has it, and everyone does. I've talked to a lot of
Everybody does. But the people who pick it back up are lifers. Yeah. You're either a fan for life or you're getting into the business.
And if you can get pulled back in, then you will stick around. And
yes.
I've been very good at pulling people back in. The amount of people come to me like, yo, you got me back in watching wrestling.
Oh, I bet.
You got me watching it with my kid now. And like, I show him stuff off your page because that's what I grew up on. I'm like, that's cool, you know what I mean? So
people love to relive the memories.
Yeah, nostalgia.
Like, and there's so many.
Nostalgia. Goldberg's back. Nostalgia.
retro wrestling T-shirts are the best.
Yeah, when I started my page, I was like, one thing I wanted to change was I was like, it's crazy. You can wear any sports jersey in the world, right? You can rep hockey, soccer, football. No one's going to judge you. Then we got back to an era like, now you can rep like any superhero shit, anime, and it's cool all of a sudden again. I'm like, in 2014, it still wasn't cool to like just be wearing a John Cena shirt. No. Granted, you can get away wearing NWO, you can get away wearing Austin 316, the old school stuff, but you couldn't wear like modern. Like if I was walking around in like a John Cena shirt in 2014, I'd be like, you still watch that shit? Like,
I wear.
I think it's okay now, though.
You'll laugh for that. No, I do.
This whole Travis Scott stuff and all this, like, it's cool now. Now it's
like a Macho Man T-shirt is the coolest thing ever now. Yeah. But like, I'll even say this, like, dude, I wear those chalk line HBK pants to the gym. Yeah. Because like, I look at those like they're retro now. To me, they are retro. This reminds me of my fandom as a kid.
Yeah.
And like, I know that the people in the gym who are into that will love them. And then the other people are not gonna, what the hell?
Yeah, I've had like singers and stuff be like, yo, give me your WCW hat. Like, that's like, I'm like, no, I can't. But like, yeah, like.
Oh yeah, I've seen, you got some of that. Is that Chalkline?
Yeah, Chalkline's dope. Chalkline's doing it, 500 levels doing it. All these companies are coming out with sick merch now. I should get a licensing deal. That's what I should do.
We have to schedule the real interview.
Yeah, this is good. All right, guys. Thank you for this not 10-minute interview. I don't know how long that went, but
it's not 10 minutes isn't long enough for us.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll do more. Thank you. LAX Fan Fest. Make sure you guys are here next year.